Hello and welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. We'll take a couple minutes here at the beginning to let people in. So if you want to put in the chat your name, where in the world are you? What do you teach? What are you hoping to gain from this challenge? Maybe even an aha from day one. Whether you were with us live or watched the video afterwards, what did you do? I can't wait to see what you created. Did you make 3 ideations of your 5-year Odyssey plans? I did. I can't wait to share them with you. So I'm going to let some people in here for a moment and then we'll get started. Okay, let's go. So yesterday was all about dreaming big. Today we're going to learn about paying ourselves first. It's such an important concept, and I'm going to give you a specific strategy and way to do that. And then tomorrow we're going to bring it all together. We're going to bring our dream together with paying ourselves first to maximizing our income and starting off 2024 on the right foot. Let's go. So pay yourself first. To invest in yourself invest in yourself, it pays the best interest. That makes more sense. Literally, invest in yourself pays you interest. So you can invest in yourself from a well-being point of view, and you can invest in yourself first also from a financial point of view. So today's key takeaways are going to be that we're going to start by prototyping our 3 5-year plans. So I'm going to share with you 2 ways that you can actually try some things out. An important part of the design thinking process is just this, prototyping and testing. Okay, we're also going to continue to value money management. We're going to get into numbers today. And so I want you to bear with me. If you feel overwhelmed at any point, just pause the video, take some deep breaths and come back to it. Know that this takes time, and by watching this is your first step. Okay, so after today, you're also going to know where you stand financially. You're going to know your household income, kind of some of your expenses, depending on how much you can gather over the next few days. And then we're going to make a plan to save and invest, and you're going to begin tracking your progress. We're going to be mindful. Okay. Remember, we're paying attention to the process, and that's allowing us to get this information out of our brain and start moving forward. Action is the way we're going to meet our dreams. So yesterday we dreamed big. We empathized with ourselves, with our Where Are You Now journal pages. And we're talking about the best way to predicting the future is just to invent it, to create it. You are in charge of you. And yes, stuff happens, as we talked about yesterday, but that's why we have multiple plans, and we're more likely to get there when we know where we're going. Then we ideated our dreams. Here was my 5-year dream in pictures. Maybe you made your dream in pictures too. If you did, share that in the group. Share it in the chat. Maybe you can share pictures in the chat. I'm not sure. But anyway, share it with us. I'd love to give you some feedback and see what you're up to. We're on this journey together. So here is that template. It's on the Padlet. I'll be showing you the Padlet in just a minute. Or maybe you did the Odyssey plan, the design thinking way, and you have your 3 timelines. Either way, maybe you even did the homework, the 10-year plan. Whatever you've done is fine. We're going to keep moving, okay, and coming back to this. So completing your dashboard, if you haven't gotten to do this yet, I really highly recommend on any of the plans, a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan, that you think about your resources, whether you like the idea, your confidence, and your coherence. Rate those now, because then you'll have a baseline for a couple years from now to see how you've grown, just like with our students, right? It's really hard to do this at the beginning because you're like, I don't know anything. This is so hard. Rate yourself low. It's okay. You're just beginning, because you will grow if you focus and pay attention to it. Okay. And then I encourage you to write a thank you note to yourself. You are the designer of your life. In this course, we're designing our life. And today we're learning how to pay ourselves first so we can financially meet those goals. The bonus is a really powerful one. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. I really, really like this resource, and myself continue to go back to it. Today's another bonus for you. I think I have 3 bonuses for you today. Also on the Padlet is growth mindset cheat sheet. Okay, just like we do with our students, we have to do with ourselves around money. So what was something you learned today after today's workshop? Think about that. What'd you learn today? How did I make progress regarding my current goals today? And what can I jump into to be 1% better tomorrow? Okay, so check that out. It's just a 3-pager, real quick growth mindset, but it's a game changer. So if you didn't meet me yesterday, I'm Sybil Hall. It's so nice to meet you. This is my family. My husband is a science teacher. My kids are high schoolers. My daughter's off to college next year. I have been in the education field for 23 years, teaching in 5 different countries. I've also was an instructional coach for 8 years in these prestigious international schools. So I've taught in Denver, Rome, Italy, Shanghai, China, Dubai, UAE, and Brussels, Belgium. I've got my debut book out. It just came out in September, called Burn Bright, Not Out, 35 Lessons that Cultivate Teacher Wellbeing. I would love it if you want to pick that up on Amazon, support a teacher, newly turned author, and entrepreneur. And now I'm building so many amazing things for you. So I'm glad you're here. Housekeeping's the same as yesterday. We have our live calls. Today is the second live call. If you missed the first one, check your email. And if you can't make it to these, they will continue to be emailed to you. Tomorrow will be the last call. This resource, I just wanted to open this up for a minute, is worth a lot, okay? I've got a lot of things here for you, including the full slide decks, and you get to keep this. So you have access to these slide decks forever, okay? The video recordings will go away after 7 days from tomorrow and be put into my mini membership. If you're interested in joining us, it's only $7 a month, and you can cancel at any time, even within the first month. So there's lots here for you guys. So check it out. I'm continually adding to it throughout the challenge. That link is in your email, and I can also put it here in the chat. So yesterday we gave away these bonuses that were really only for my readers until this challenge. So I hope you've gotten a download and enjoy those. And remember that your active participation, doing the activities, participating in the communities, is going to equal success in learning. What you focus on, you become, or you do. And that's just a reality. So tell your story to the world and get reinforcement. And remember, I'm giving away a $25 Amazon card for those of you that do participate publicly. I so appreciate you and want you the best for you. So I'm giving this card to incentivize that a little bit for you. Today, we're going to use just one part of the workbook, and that is the financial planning part. Okay. Today's workshop's probably going to run a little bit shorter than yesterday's because I want to give you some time to start finding your numbers and filling in your numbers, and know that it's okay. It takes time. I actually have one that I did 6 months ago here, and I'm still adding to it as like I get a reoccurring annual bill, for example. I'll add that down. So be patient with yourself. Any numbers are better than no numbers. And let's just keep reminding ourselves of that. Okay. So let's start with prototyping our dreams a little bit first. Remember, we're thinking like a designer. So when we're prototyping our dreams, we want to set the bar low and jump it. Okay. We want to have immediate success. So you just want to try some low hanging fruit out and jump it, basically do it. Because you will build confidence by doing. Okay. The hardest thing is to start. Once you start, you're going to be jumping up and up as you keep going. Okay. The more confident you get, the easier it is to make the next decision. And you're just going to keep going like that, trying again and again and again. So one way that you can prototype is through conversations. So one reason the community is an important aspect of this challenge and of my mini membership is because I want to surround you with people that are like you and that have similar goals. Like I mentioned yesterday, if some of the people at Shanghai American School hadn't owned properties back here in the US and were renting them out short and long-term rentals, I wouldn't have even realized that that was a possibility for me. Realizing that was a possibility allowed me to start investing and saving first and then investing and then taking out 100,000 to put as a down payment. Okay, so surrounding yourself with people to have conversations with is really, really important. So watch for things and people's stories that resonate with you. Like anywhere you are, just pay attention to what they're telling you, because you could reach out to them later and say, hey, can you tell me about running a short-term rental on Airbnb? I'm interested in that. A friend of mine just did that actually recently, and she wouldn't have even realized that that was an important part of my financial strategy if I hadn't posted it on Facebook recently, just saying there were some extra spots and friends and family discount, right? So pay attention to what people are sharing on social, what people are sharing in in-person gatherings. And you can say something like, wow, you're already doing what I want to do. You're like a future me. Can we chat about that? How did you get started? What's your biggest failure? What'd you learn? What's the most important thing for a beginner? Things like that. I want to talk to you about blank. What is it like to own a tiny home? What is it like to buy a piece of property and just have it sit, for whatever? So whatever's in your dream, try to start having conversations. That's a way to prototype your dream. You'll find out real quick if you like that and, oh, I want to read that book. Oh, I want to go watch that YouTube video. Or if you do and you're like, that's not really for me, actually. That's even actually more powerful than finding out you want it, because taking things off the list is actually really hard to do and really powerful for the brain, taking off a piece of the cognitive load if it's not something that you're truly interested in moving forward with. Okay. The second way that you can prototype your dreams is through experiences. So you can actually set up an experience to try out something from your dream. So, for example, buying a piece of land up in the mountains, that's pretty easy for me to know that I would love to like camp on a piece of land and then even upgrade to glamping and have a tiny home, right? But I know I can think about how I feel when I'm within the trees camping, right? I can think about this experience and it's definitely the right place for me. It's definitely where I want to spend time and where I want to be with my family. So you can either have a conversation or experience or try both. But these are the two ways that the Stanford D School recommends that you prototype your dreams. Okay, because remember, you're designing this, right? So rent that RV, drive it around, see if that's something you actually want to aspire to do to save for yourself. What size you gonna want? My husband started looking at teardrops, and it's, we could rent one before we start making big plans to save enough money and where are we gonna house it and all of that, right? So prototyping is a key part of design thinking. We're not done yet. We've ideated, and now we really need to prototype these things, try them out. And the biggest question we want to ask ourselves is, how do you feel? Okay. And if you think about it, by trying them out or having a conversation about it, you're already starting to do it. You're making that dream a reality. And if you really like it, you're going to find time and keep going with it. It's going to be a signal to you if it's a priority or not. Now, it's not always easy, I know, as a teacher to find that time. So what I really recommend to my clients is that you carve out on your calendar 30 to 60 minutes a week, really 60 minutes a week, to work on money, to work on your dreams. Okay. You don't even have to specify what you're going to do, but if you start spending an hour a week on money, you're going to start spending more than that quickly, because you'll start spending learning time and you'll start spending calculation time and you'll catch yourself grabbing numbers from different places, right? It just becomes a habit and it becomes a part of who you are and what you do. And at that point, you will start to see yourself start to feel more financially well. Okay. Financial well-being is an important part of our overall well-being. And honestly, finances cause people a ton of stress. So if you can actually be more financially well by focusing on it little bits over extended periods of time, you're going to benefit, your whole well-being is going to benefit as well. So what I want you to do now is I want you to look at your plans from yesterday that you made, and then choose something to try on, either through a conversation or through an experience. Okay, just take a moment here to write in your notebook. Oh, there's some balloons for you. Take a moment here to write in your notebook some of the possible things to try on. For example, my first one is going to be keep reading that book about creative financing, because no matter which route I go with buying a property, creative financing is something I want to know. So I'm going to keep reading that book. And I'm going to find somebody to have a conversation with about creative financing. I did early on text a few people, say, hey, do you know about creative financing? But then I kind of let go of it. I'm going to make myself do that again. And once I do find some people, kind of set up some conversations, because I know I'll learn a lot faster that way. So I'll be quiet for 30 seconds to a minute and go ahead and write down some of the things in your dream plan that you can try on through conversations or experiences. Okay, let's keep going. So, paying ourselves first. Paying yourself first isn't just about saving money, it's about prioritizing your future self and dreams. So, remember when we were empathizing yesterday with ourselves? We were empathizing with ourselves in this moment where we are now, and we want to now practice empathizing with our future selves. Okay, everything we do today is for your future self. With that in mind, sometimes like the FIRE movement and kind of investing largely gets a bad name because some people go so hardcore that they live a miserable life for a certain amount of time to reach, financial freedom or independence. I'm not promoting that strategy. I'm promoting financial well-being now as your priority. And by building and getting those numbers in place, eventually you'll be able to make your means meet those dreams, and the alignment and coherence will come into place. But that, my opinion is that it starts with financial being now. Okay, so what we're doing today is going to find out where we are now and kind of where like a possible place we might want to get to in the future is. Okay. So I like to think of these 5 things when I think of paying yourself first. Okay. So the first thing is automatic transfers. So setting up, like I mentioned yesterday, I have an automatic transfer to go into my brokerage account, to my investment accounts, or to my IRAs, or whatever it is at the beginning of the year, it's my IRAs, and then it shifts to my brokerage account later in the year. But it automatically comes out after we get our paychecks. We are going to be talking about annual household income today. So if you are with, a partner or family and share money, just keep that in mind. But anyway, making that automatic transfer is a way to pay yourself first, because then you only have whatever's left over that you've allotted to yourself for the rest of the month. Okay. It's all really about cash flow on a monthly basis. Paying yourself first is about retirement planning. So it is the leverage point that allows you to invest whatever you can each month for long periods of time. Okay, retirement planning is a long game, and you're going to see in some examples I'm going to give here shortly how investing for longer really pays off. So today is the best day to start. not tomorrow, not the next day, today. So paying ourselves first really helps us with retirement planning. It will help those of you that have some debt manage your debt as well. And even if you have good debt or bad debt, you'll deal with those debts differently, but it's still the concept of paying yourself first, your savings, your investments first, lets you manage your debt in a more healthy and well way. The emergency fund is a big focus of paying yourself first. So you should have 3 to 6 months salary or spending costs just liquid in a savings account in case of emergencies. Okay. I had to dip into mine during COVID when our short-term rental was shut down, right? So I was really glad that I had that emergency fund focus. So once you get that, the good news is that you don't have to invest into it anymore. And the other good news with your emergency fund is that right now there's a lot of high yield savings accounts getting 4 or 5%. So really, that's not near as good as the stock market, but that's a lot more money on your emergency money than there has ever been in the past. But it does need to be in a liquid account, so you could grab it and pay that mortgage bill or whatever your emergency health bill or whatever it may be right away. You don't want to have it in the stock market. Okay. And then paying yourself first helps you adjust your budget. Okay, so as you get good at paying yourself first, you start to realize I can pay myself first 1% more this month. Oh, all I have to do is take away this monthly subscription and this, whatever, and then I've got 1% more this month. And then by the end of the year, if you do that for 12 months, you've got 12% more every single month going in and compounding. Okay, so paying yourself first is really a big conceptual idea. I like to talk about this idea with self-care as well. Taking care of yourself first allows you to serve others better. They say put on your own oxygen mask before putting on your child's. It's the exact same concept for money. We're paying our future self first, and then we're living and spending the rest. Okay. So to get there, we are going to use what's called a 50-30-20 budgeting rule. Okay. You may or may not be familiar with this, and I'm going to twist it just a little bit based on my experience and merging this idea of paying yourself first and having big bucket allocations of where my money's going. Okay, so financial planning ensures well-being by clarifying expenses, fostering savings, and reducing confusion with spending. Okay, so we make spending decisions every single day. Some of them are automatic, right? We set up automatic payments, and others are on the spot with a kid, saying, "Mommy, I want it," right? We make these decisions all the time. And so having some big buckets of how much money can go to what can really help you make better spending decisions, feel less stress and more well. Okay. So the 50-30-20 budget simplifies this by dividing your income into your needs, your wants, and your goals. Okay. So your needs are things like rent, insurance, groceries. Your wants are things like shopping, travel, entertainment, subscriptions. Your goals are things like paying off debt, building your savings, your emergency fund, investing in your future. Okay. So some of you are like, budget, I'm worried. I get it. I don't have a great reaction to the word budget either. To be honest with you, I use this 50-30-20 budget, and I use the Mint app to manage my daily expenses. That's going away and changing to Credit Karma, so I'm gonna have to figure out what I want to do. But I can tell you from a worrier to maybe another worrier is that it does get better and you do worry less once you start to see the numbers work and once you start to focus on making them work for your dream future. Because remember, a lot of what we did yesterday was just really to motivate us and to let our brain see where we might want to go. Okay. So this is a free Canva template for you, and it says, just like a tree sheds its leaves, you can too let go of the worries that weigh you down. Use this worry tree to write down your worries on each leaf. Imagine each worry drifting away with the falling leaves, helping you feel lighter and more at peace. It is scientifically proven. Write your stuff down. You can let it go. Okay, so take an opportunity to print this worry tree, write your worries down, and let them go. You've got this. We're going to put on our empowering beliefs and our growth mindset. Okay. So let me show you. There's no better way than just to see how numbers roll out. So I've got two teachers here. Okay. They're both bringing home $60,000 a year. Okay. Teacher A is following these allocations. He spends about 60% of his 60,000 on needs, 35% on wants, and 5% on his savings. Teacher B spends 50% on her needs, 30% on her wants, and 20% on her savings. She's following the 50-30-20 budget exactly, and he has found that he's needed to alter it. Okay, which is what you're going to do today, is you're going to put your numbers in, and then you're going to put in the recommended numbers, and you're going to see where it lies, right? Over time, we want to alter it to more payments to ourselves first, more savings. The more we can save, the earlier, the longer it has to grow in your investment account. So remind, this whole thing, they're bringing home 60,000 a year. Okay. Oops, I got a spelling error there. So teacher A is cautious and steady. His allocations, like I said, are 60, 35, 5. He already does have his 3 months of emergency funds saved, which is great, but he is focusing on paying off student loans. He prefers enjoying today with a gradual approach to savings. Teacher B is more forward-thinking and focused. She's doing the 50-30-20. She also has her emergency fund fully funded. She automates, so she has an automatic investment of 20% each month to her investments. And she's prioritizing paying herself first to meet her long-term goals. So here it is with that 60,000 broken up. So basically teacher A spends 3,000 a month on his needs. He spends 1,750 on his wants and saves 250 a month. Teacher B spends 2,500 on her needs, so 500 less on her needs. Her wants 1,500, and she's able to save 1,000. Remember, they're both bringing home the same income. They're just spending and saving it differently. When it says savings, it's going to be investing, okay? Because you have to save it, you have to get it there, and then you got to invest it, okay? So teacher A, let's look at his numbers. So his needs are $3,000, okay? So here's his rent, 1,500. He spends about 300 on utilities, 400 on groceries, transportation. Cars are expensive if you're in the States. Otherwise, maybe you have lower transportation needs. And then his health insurance, okay? His wants, he spends quite a bit on wants. It's 35%. It's above the allocation. Both his needs and wants are above the allocation. So if he wanted to look to save more, he would need to look hard at these two categories and decide, what do I want to spend less money on? But anyway, he dines out, he has entertainment, he has shopping, and quite a bit for travel. 550 a month for travel is a lot. If you think about it, that's 4 months, that's $2,020. Every 4 months, he could go on a $2,020 trip. So right there might be, although he's maybe just prioritizing travel and likes to do it luxury, but right there might be some money that could go over here instead, right? So his emergency fund is funded and he's investing 250 a month into the stock market. By the way, the stock market's not a totally scary thing. I do it all myself, and I can help you. I go deeper with that in the mini membership, Money Ninja mini membership. You can go deep with me. I show you my actual numbers, things like that. Okay, back to teacher B. So teacher B spends the 50%, which is 2,500. Here's their needs. Okay, so a little bit cheaper rent, a little bit cheaper health insurance. So there are different options, right? And somebody else might need more expensive health insurance, and therefore, they might not be able to do as much dining out. These are the kinds of decisions that we're making big term, long term on our month by month basis. That way, when we go out and spend, we know where we're trying to fall. We're not just spending to spend. 30%, so it's 1,500 on teacher B's wants. And then this teacher is investing 1,000 a month, 20% of their salary every month to their investment accounts. Okay. So the cautious and steady teacher A, after 20 years of investing his savings, teacher A, with her more conservative savings plans, has built a respectable nest egg of around $148,268.76 at 8% interest. Okay, people say the stock market makes 6 to 10% a year. More and more people are calculating it at 10% now. I left it a little bit lower at 8% because inflation has been off the wall. You kind of need to account for that in the future. It was in the middle of 6 to 10%. So you can play with these numbers with investment calculators, which I highly recommend that you do. But these numbers I ran at 8%. Okay. So our forward thinking and focused teacher B has more of an aggressive savings and investing strategy. And she, after 20 years at 8%, and compound interest, has $593,075.06. There's a big difference between 148,000 and 593,000. Both of these teachers, one's on this side of you, one's on this side of you, are bringing home the same income. And teacher B is setting herself up to meet her dreams and possibly retire earlier, or who knows what she wants to do with that than teacher A. Now, if we doubled that, so if we took teacher A from 5% savings to 10% savings, he'd be saving $500 a month. Then he would have $296,537.53 after 20 years at 8%. And teacher B would double hers to $2,000 a month, and she would accumulate $1.186 million after 20 years at 8%. Okay, so teacher B is now aggressively saving 40% of her salary to run into this number. Okay, what these equations don't take into consideration is the 60,000 growing. So each year, if your salary grows, you can, in theory, invest that much more if your expenses don't go up as high, right? So we're really building like our number sense for financial literacy and just understanding how money can grow, and the difference between investing 500 a month and 2,000 a month is huge. And that's because of compound interest. Okay. All the money each month, whatever your plan makes, more gets compounded the next month and gets compounded the next month. Okay. So which teacher will get to their dream faster? Well, we already know it's teacher B, right? She has the 50-30-20 allocation. So she's saving and investing 20% of her income. So she has a higher savings rate, which significantly boosts her financial growth. Okay. Teacher A is doing great too. He has a consistent savings and a respectable nest egg, right? But you can see the difference by saving 15% more. Okay, so the question would be, can teacher A find 15% within these needs and wants to save 20%? Okay, but teacher A wouldn't be able to do that unless they did what we're doing today. And that's making a 50-30-20 budget for where you are today. You can't go anywhere if you don't know where you're going. Same thing as yesterday, okay? So we're going to do that in our financial planning part of our workbook, okay? Yesterday we talked about ideation versus planning. And yesterday was all about that free, open brainstorming, getting those big ideas out. Today, we're actually like planning, looking at our real numbers. And tomorrow, we're going to merge the two. Okay. So this is just, as I said earlier, a simple way to organize your finances, make progress towards your future goals, and avoid stress. So the very first thing you're going to need to do is determine your household income. Okay, like I said, this is your total household income. Unless your money is separate, then you're going to have to put half your rent, whatever your situation might be. Make it work for you, but include your salary. If you have stocks, your dividends, if you have a rental property, any kind of passive income, you need to include in here as well. Also, if your school or your employer takes out, say, healthcare as a pre-tax, payment, that's awesome. We take advantage of all of those that we can, but put them back into this number. So if $500 comes out a month for your healthcare, and so you actually don't get that in take-home salary, put that back in here because you will take it out again in needs. And that's a need that you're not going to mess with because it stays exactly 500, but a different need or a different want you might be able to wiggle with, find some wiggle room with. Okay. So really you have to do this number one step. So I'm going to go through and explain this whole process, and then I'm going to basically send you off to do the work. Okay. A little different than yesterday because you can't really move forward without your monthly household income. And I understand you might want to pause the video if you're watching this not live, and do this now and then pick up with me. Otherwise, just watch through and then try to do this within the next 24 hours though, because that will keep you motivated and moving forward. So after you have your household income, the second step is savings and investing goals. So in a traditional 50-30-20 budget, you would see step 2 as your needs, and then your wants, and then your savings. I've flipped it for us. Okay, so we're starting with the 20% of our savings and investing goals. Okay, so what you're going to put in here is, if you have current savings goals, go ahead and put them in there, and what you are currently saving. And then you're going to multiply your total income by 0.2 to find out your recommended savings number and put that in there too. So for each stage, I guess, each part allocation, you're going to find the recommended at the 50-30-20, and you're going to put in your total as of now. That way you have some comparison, some work to do from there. I'm sorry, I keep doing that. Okay, so step 3 will be determine your needs. Okay, so same thing. My mortgage or my rent costs X amount. My groceries cost X amount. Okay, put it all in here and then use that total income from page 1 and multiply by 0.5 to find out what the recommended is. I apologize. And then step 4 is to determine your wants. Okay. This is a really good area to pay attention to. Write them all down, write every membership, to Netflix and down. Write everything down because it will make it easier to be like, oh, I don't need that anymore. Oh, I don't need that anymore. To find some wiggle room to save more. Okay. Your needs are your needs, but your wants, you can start thinking more minimalistically and start to cut some wants pretty quickly. Okay. Last, you're going to take all 3 numbers and put them together here. Okay. So the recommended numbers when you did the multiplication and your actual numbers. Okay. This is a big, big moment. It's okay if it's hard and it's off. You're just starting and you're in the right place. Okay. I've got your back. I'm here to work with you. So just do it. And if you have to just put it away afterwards and come back to it tomorrow, so be it. Okay. Like I said earlier, if you don't know all of your numbers, just do the numbers you know and pay attention to it. Keep it handy, close by. So when you get that bill and you paid for, I don't know, Zoom again, you could add that in to your sheet and get more and more accurate numbers over time. I recommend that you do one of these every 6 months to a year. So just print it out, do it, and then move forward. Last is reflection. Okay, you're going to analyze your goals, your needs and wants, and you're going to compare where you fell short or have extra room. Okay, you're going to evaluate how and when you will meet a 50-30-20 allocation. And you're going to set a goal with a timeline. If you need to adjust that because you're already there, just adjust it. How much do you want to save 1% more a month? Do you want to boost up that 20 to 30? You do it how you want. Okay. Notice how you're feeling and be kind to yourself. Okay. It's so important. This is on track to help you be more financially well, not to cause more stress. Although you might start feeling some stress when you actually see the numbers because you might be living in la la land and not know the numbers. That's okay. You can handle it. I'm here for you. Even just doing this one time and print a picture on your brain, especially if you handwrite it down. And just this action alone will change the outlook for your future. Because I guarantee you the next time you want to go buy that Starbucks, this mental image of this might pop into your mind and be like, nope, that's somewhere I can save. I'm not going to buy that Starbucks today. Okay. You got this. I'm here with you. And it is hard. It's hard for me too. Okay, so you're going to do that, but I also have on the Padlet an extra bonus for you, and that is a full-length 2024 finance planner. You might not want to print this one right from the beginning because it's quite a few pages, because it does have every month. But if you're the kind of pencil person thing with this here's a gift for you. Okay. So you can start working on that right away next week. Oh my gosh, New Year. Okay, so your homework for tonight is to finish your 3 5-year ideations if you haven't done so yet, either using the Odyssey plan, the design thinking way, or the 3 questions in your dream future part of your workbook. And then to do your 50-30-20 budgeting. Just want you to just estimate if you don't know your exact numbers. Get some numbers down, get the recommended on your household income, and get the where you are actually at. That would be the hugest step forward if you can do that. Okay, so do that before tomorrow because we're going to be bringing it all together. And if you can't, don't worry, you're going to have access to these recordings for another week, and then you can get further access by joining the Money Ninja Club, which is only $7 a month, and you can cancel at any time. There it is, speaking of. So if you like this work, here's some other things I can offer you. I've got a book on Amazon, Burn Bright Not Out, and I've got the Money Ninja Club for you. Join us. There's lots of great conversations and learning going on. New monthly content every single month, live coaching, live Q&A calls. I know people are all over the world, and so the live stuff's hard. So it's always recorded and put in there for you. And this 3-day challenge will be put into the Money Ninja Club early next week and continue to do so. I just love to give you all the value I can. And so I will be adding to that every single month with lots of extra bonuses, etc. So glad that you're here with me. So I will stay on to answer a few questions if there are any, but want to say goodbye first. I am so glad that you're on this journey with me. We are becoming financially well by becoming money ninjas, and we can do it. We can do it together. It's a constant struggle, but let's make it a productive struggle and a positive one, because when you start meeting those goals and financial dreams, it sure feels good. So see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye.